Hello, art students. The first thing you need to do today is decide how large you want your drawing to be. And one thing to think about is how quickly or how slowly you tend to work, and maybe also how confident of a drawer you are at this point in the semester. You have two sizes of drawing paper to choose from: 10 inches by 14 inches and 15 inches by 21 inches. If you choose to work in the smaller size, you are going to be making a 2-inch grid. And to do that, you are going to line up your ruler along the side of your paper, and you're going to make a mark at every 2 inches. Please use an HB or a 2H pencil and make your marks light enough that they will eventually disappear into the drawing. So again, you're going to make a mark at every 2 inches if you were working in the smaller size of drawing paper. And you're going to do that along every side of the paper. This is really important that you do this along every side of the paper so that your grid lines, your grid marks line up and your grid is straight. This is really important to set it up so your grid is accurate. Then what you're going to do is just line up your marks all the way along your paper. And I like to do this standing up. I find it's easier for me. So line up your marks and then connect the dots. Again, use really light pressure. You want your grid lines to disappear in the drawing. I'm using a dark pencil so that you can just see this in the video, but you don't want your grid to be dark like this. If you goof and you accidentally use like a B pencil, then you might need to redo your grid because it'll still show up in your drawing, and we don't want that. So again, what I'm doing is I'm lining up my dots, and I'm just using the ruler, and then I'm drawing a line to connect the dots on one side of the paper, and then I'm going to rotate it and do the same thing on the other side. So on the long side now, I'm lining up my dots with the ruler and then connecting the dots to create the 2-inch grid. So again, this is if you want to work in that smaller size, it's a 2-inch grid. Sometimes students will try to cheat and only make the measurements on two sides of the paper, and they'll try to fudge it, but trust me, your grid will be crooked if you do that. And then the problem is later on when you go to your drawing will be off. So here's what that grid looks like, that 2-inch grid. If you want to work larger, you're going to be working on a 15 by 21 inch piece of paper, and you're going to do a 3-inch grid. So the process is the same. You're just going to make a mark at every 3 inches on each side of the paper. So top and bottom and each side, and then same thing, you're going to line up your marks and connect the dots with a ruler to make your grid lines, again using an HB or a 2H pencil so that grid is really light and it eventually disappears into your drawing. Here is what those two grids look like, and this is what you need to do by the end of today's class.